tell me real quick, what is Bitcoin for those who know nothing whatsoever about it?
All right. Great question. So, like I said, thank you for letting me come on and share this love. Bitcoin is a part of a application of a major technology called blockchain technology. And really what you have when you have Bitcoin is encrypted data. So it's when you take a picture with your phone and there was a time we had Kodak, we had to go get it developed, went through a whole rigmarole. It was kind of crazy, right? And then now you can take pictures and you don't like it, you can redo it and take another picture and then send it. It's all data, but it's not encrypted. It's actually data that can be easily copied. When the developers of Bitcoin came about, they were able to come up with a way to take this data and encrypt it and make it so that when you received it, it was no way that somebody could counterfeit it, and you can verify that you actually had it.
It's like virtual currency.
So it's like virtual currency, but that's just one application. So you can compare a car and a road. Visa and cash. Visa allows you to pay something with cash. Bitcoin is the car and the road. You don't need nothing to transfer your Bitcoin. It rides on the internet. If you have cash, you got to have either PayPal, you need to use a check, you need a whole bunch of other things to allow you to move value. With Bitcoin, it is the actual payment platform as well as the actual transfer of value.
So, but with that value, because anybody can go, I know you can go to the internet and you can put in today's value of Bitcoin. And one of the things that was really in the news this year was that one coin, in parentheses, was worth so much money, but it goes up and down like stock, right?
Yeah. So unlike the dollar we have, where it's inflationary, where it's manipulated by the reserve, where they print more, which really means the value should go down, but somehow it doesn't. Bitcoin's value is dictated by the market. You know, there's a thing called Pizza Day. When the first real market price was developed for Bitcoin, somebody actually used Bitcoin to buy 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. Now you have a market. You have a buyer and a seller, and these people agree on what that is. Just like with gold, there's no, God didn't tell us gold was valuable. Through consensus, we agreed that this rock, I'm an engineer by profession, it's just on the periodic table. It's just a rock. When the end of the world comes, the woman with the most goats is going to beat the guy with the most gold because you can't eat gold. Mm-hmm. So in a real way, through consensus, this digital currency, this encrypted data has been agreed that it's valuable. And there's no U.S. Bitcoin, there's no Scandinavian Bitcoin, there's Zimbabwean Bitcoin, there's only one Bitcoin. So this space that allows us to come up with a reason why something like this is useful is because it's easier to move. It allows us to do more things than we can with a paper dollar that we call balled up in our pockets.
202-319-7810, 202-319-7810. We're talking about Bitcoin, that virtual currency that a lot of people have heard so much about during the course of this year. If you have a question or a comment, give us a call. We've got a truncated show tonight as we make some improvements here at WHUR. Chuck, calling from Bowie. Thanks for calling, Chuck. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I had a question.
Go ahead.
If a person buys and invests into the Bitcoin today, not having a crystal ball, but just as these big-time investors speculating, the time of next year, September, where would it possibly go?
That is such an excellent question. Go right ahead.
Well, I think I always hear a lot of folks come on these shows. I'm not giving anybody no financial advice. I am not authorized or will not be held accountable for that. But the more user adoption, the more this technology becomes more prevalent, the likelihood of the value to increase is very high. That's what I will say to that. You've seen cycles of volatility when people have actually, the Chinese government decided it wasn't going to use it and it decided it was going to use it. There's a lot of market factors that influence the price of any commodity, including this digital commodity, if you will. But those in the space think that this is very early in the space and that as user adopter increases, more people hold on to it or use it, the value of it will go up in price. So we have a long view of Bitcoin, but I tell people, it's just a technology, it's just a tool. Do not put all your faith in any technology. Diversify your interests, and you will be able to benefit from that diversification. But we see it as something that's going to increase in value because the awareness of people about this technology is forever increasing.
202, thank you so much, Chuck. 202-319-7810. 202-319-7810. You can understand, though, Sinclair, why some people are skeptical, particularly as we've come off of, the mortgage crisis of the early 2000s, and people are thinking about, investing in stocks and bonds, and particularly African Americans who, for the most part, are really just getting into the business of being financially literate. And so when you add a new currency of Bitcoin, some people might be skeptical.
Yeah, the reason why I got into Bitcoin, I was skeptical. I got involved. I was looking into something new in 2012 and stumbled upon Bitcoin through this show called the Kaiser Report. And I've been skeptical of the American economy and the dollar and how do we get value, and in all the friends I had who lost money in the mortgage crisis. And I've been through I had a bankruptcy in 2003. This system that we're currently in, I'm skeptical. What I would tell people is that just as skeptical as you are of Bitcoin, you should be skeptical of that dollar you got in your pocket. You should be skeptical about any of these things that we're being told that are valuable, and ask yourself, why do they have value? So I would never think we should go into this without being skeptical. I think I do have a concern that we as a people might be skeptical of new things, but something that your mama did, you don't ask questions about. We should ask reasonable questions about all these things that we've now believed to be true, and find out and research better understanding of each of these things. But there are scams. I think at the end of the day, which has been very unfortunate, is that as more people got interested and the value has increased, there's been people getting into OneCoin and Bitcoin. There's a bunch of these scams out there. So if somebody tells you got to become a member in order to be a part of something, or they're going to mine some coins for you if you give them a fractional value of the miner, run from that. I tell people, if a stranger on the street wouldn't be able to convince you, don't let a stranger on the internet convince you, or a stranger at a conference. At the end of the day, you still need to use common sense. There's no get rich scheme. No one's going to come in here and just make you rich overnight. So you have to do your research, and you have to make sure that whoever you're dealing with is reputable. And you should, again, if you don't know, conferences like we're having are helpful for that. But I
wanted to, because we have a truncated show, I wanted to make sure that you had a chance to talk very briefly about the conference. You've got something called the Black Blockchain Summit. It's coming up. It's going to be on Howard University's campus on Monday and Tuesday. For those wanting to attend, what will they get out of this 2-day event?
What they will get is really some opportunity to get fundamental knowledge about the different cryptocurrencies, what the difference between them are, what the projects that are actually ongoing, that have strong reputations, and the differences between them. So it's very helpful if folks are trying to make sure they don't get scammed, or they're very interested in trying to even get involved. And then next, we're actually talking about the application of these technology. Again, Bitcoin is the most successful application of blockchain technology, but it's not the only one. There's Ethereum, there's Neo, there's a host of different types of blockchain protocols that allow you to do different things. At this conference, we're going to have thought leaders like Lamar Wilson, Reggie Middleton, the sister who did Guapcoin. There's actually black folks who have developed their own tokens themselves. So in a real way, this will give you a chance to see all these things and be able to understand how they relate back to the black community.
Let me go back to the phone call. Paul calling from D.C. Thanks for calling, Paul. What's on your mind? Quickly, please.
Yeah, good evening. I have this question, why is there so much manipulation in the space? And with the SEC if the SEC pretty much gets in the space,
Are you talking about the Security and Exchange Commission?
No, I'm talking about the Bitcoin itself. There is so much manipulation that we see in the space.
So, in other words, why does it go up and down? Why is it so volatile?
Yeah,
that's a really, really good question. Go right ahead, Sinclair. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, Bitcoin is so volatile because there's no one actually in control of it. At the end of the day, the factors that are involved with why it goes up is because, not trying to take us to macroeconomics, when there's a high demand for it, the price goes up. If there's more people who are trying to sell it than buying it, the price goes down. So unlike the dollar and other arenas where you have either oil companies holding back on production, or if you have the federal government saying that these are the interest rates, there are things that actually are controlling most of the currencies out here outside of the market. Bitcoin is one of those a digital commodity that actually is really dealing in free market forces. So you're right. You will have volatility in it. So that's something for everyone to be very mindful of. If anybody can tell you they can predict what the value is going to be tomorrow, they're lying to you. Don't talk to them.
Okay. Let's go to Erica. Erica calling from D.C. Thanks for calling. What's on your mind?
Hi, yes. I had gotten into not the Bitcoin, but the cryptocurrency probably earlier last year. And I got in and when the market was a little bit high, and I was starting to think maybe I should pull out of it, and I wasn't sure. I know you can't give advice, and I do understand that, but something is just nagging at me to stay with it, because now I'm starting to hear more of the government talk about blockchain technology. So I feel like there's this kind of, I don't want to say, I feel like there's this push for people to get out of it until the government can get a hold of it. So I'm just kind of, I'm in it to stay in it, because that was my, I had extra money, and this is what I wanted to do with this, kind of diversify.
So what's your, Erica, I'm really short on time. What's your question?
Is it something, because I did the Stellar Lumen, and I did, I'm just trying to see, I know there's different coins. How do you know how safe you're going to be in this market and not lose money? I guess you wouldn't. You don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah,
thank you,
I think
Erica.
the best thing to do is, this is not just like buying stock, okay? So this is about you being committed to understanding a technology and the market that it's involved in. These tokens are being used to build products. And you need to understand what their products are and who are the users. And that's why user adoption, the more people use these tokens, the more the price is going to go up in value. So I would say, again, Bitcoin is the most prolific, most successful blockchain protocol in history. So that's going to be a very sound opportunity for a long time, I would say. These other tokens have different value profiles, but make sure you understand what people are building who are using that particular protocol that you're working with.
And that's going to be part of the conversation on Monday and on Tuesday. As always, the information for our events and information that our guests are bringing to us will be on our website on WHUR.com. However, if you would like more information right at this very moment, you can go to blackblockchainsummit.com. That's blackblockchainsummit.com. That's Monday and Tuesday. It's on the campus of Howard University, right on Georgia Avenue. It's going to be at 2201 Georgia Avenue, right next to the bookstore. That's Monday and Tuesday of next week. Of course, that information and the website will be posted on our website on WHUR.com, as well as the podcast. I apologize. We're out of time. As I said, Sinclair, we are making some changes here to make sure that we can continue to broadcast in a clear and efficient fashion. So we're going to have a shortened program tonight, but thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it.
No, you've been awesome. Humbly, big brother.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That is the Daily Drum on WHUR and Sirius XM Channel 141.